Hello everybody, my name is Karryshh and welcome back to another recap video. This time it's a really good Korean horror movie, Handsome Guys. Actually, it was a comedy horror and I personally don't enjoy them, but this one genuinely made me laugh. The storyline was amazing and so were the jokes. You should definitely give it a try. On top of that, if you're new here, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. It's the only thing that keeps me motivated to bring more of these videos. Now without further ado, sit back and relax as I recap Handsome Guys. So the story begins with a news report in which we find out that a famous golf player is missing for some time, whose name was Lee. Lee had gone on a vacation with some friends and he disappeared from there. They were also talking about murders and the possible suspects were two brothers named Kang and Park. The police are investigating the case, but now the scene goes 6,666 minutes ago, where we meet Kang and Park, and the brothers are going to buy a house in the middle of the woods to experience a remote life. On their way, they stop at a grocery store. They also have a dog named Bong, and now inside the store, we meet a group of friends. They were Bora and Mina, the famous golf player Lee, and three more guys named Byung, Jason and Nam. There Bora and Mina comes face to face with Park and his criminal looking face ends up scaring him. They think of him as a murderer cause his cot was filled with stuff like hammers and ropes. After a while, Mina finds Bong and she starts to pet him when Kang comes. And he laughs at Mina in a friendly way, but his laughter scares her enough that she falls. Kang tries to give Mina a hand to get up, but Mina's friends see the situation as if he's trying to kidnap her. The friends push Kang away and it turns into an argument. Then Park comes and he warns the friends to not mess with his brothers. The friends end up leaving and they were on their way for a vacation. With their chit-chats, we can tell that they all were not really good friends. On their way, a black goat appears on the road and they hit her with their car. The goat died and only Mina was the one who wanted to bury the goat, but everyone else denied since they were already late and left the goat's body right there. With the goat's death, we see a pentagram appearing in a dark place. Back on Kang and Park, who were talking about how handsome they are when they see the dead goat and decide to bury it, were then introduced with Officer Choi and Sang-gu. They were patrolling when they passed by Kang and Park taking care of that goat's body, but it looked like they had committed some sort of crime. Obviously, the cops stopped their car and told the brothers to put their hands in the air. Sang-gu go and check what was inside the tarp, and it was the goat. When everything was said and done, the cops find out that the brothers were innocent. They asked a few questions like where they going and all, and then let the brothers go. However, Choi suspected that Kang and Park were certainly criminals from the way the two looked and the way they were going to buy a house in the middle of the woods. Now after driving all day, Kang and Park arrives at the property and meets with its realtor, but something was wrong. Actually, everything was wrong because the property did not look like anything in the picture. The realtor blames the weather and then he rushed into everything. He showed the insides in a rush, but Kang ended up liking it. It just needed a little bit of makeover and that was why the brothers made the deal and bought the house. On the other hand, the friends arrived at their vacation house. They were pool partying but Byung was working, all because he's the least handsome in the group. Now later, Kang and Park begins the construction in their house when suddenly, a beam from their ceiling broke and almost unalived Park. This accident led the brothers to discover a secret basement filled with darkness. The two go to check it out and there they get a shock.
What are they?
After seeing each other, as well as after finding the pentagram we saw earlier, it was apparent that the place was unholy. Then the brothers find a gun with 2 bullets in it. Park inspects the gun and it was made of silver. Must be expensive, so Park took it. After the sun sets, Park and Kang buried that goat in the woods. But as they leave that place, The green around the grave dried instantly, indicating the forthcoming horror. On the other hand, the friends were resting after the party. Meena was with Lee, and the two actually like each other. But now Lee reveals a tale. Actually, this area is his father's hometown, and long ago, a girl in the village got possessed by a demon. With scenes from the past, we see that possessed girl tied in the basement of the house where Kang and Parks are living. The villagers and an American priest were there as well, and the priest figured that the demon is Baphomet, one of the most powerful demons of hell. The demon had taken over the girl, but the priest tried to exorcise her, which ended up with Christ's cross burning the girl's forehead enough that the cross got stuck there. Lee tells Meena that the girl was referred as Goat Girl, and she was the reason his uncle died. During that exorcism, the demon screamed, and the cross that was buried on the forehead shot out like a bullet, murdering Lee's uncle. The demon then laughed at the priest's face, and the priest then shot the demon with that silver bullet, sending him back where it belonged. After this story, Lee shows Meena a protection charm made by a famous priest, which is worth 10 million, and it would protect Lee from anything bad in this village. Scene goes in a retirement home where we meet a father named Kim, who was on his deathbed. Kim was one of the students who were taught by that American priest in the past. He also had a book which said that 66 months and 6 days later, a black goat will be sacrificed, which will open the doors to hell. And this is what we saw in this movie so far. Back on Meena, who eavesdropped on Lee and Nam, talking about Bora and how ugly she is. This upsets Meena and she ended up leaving. Now we see Park and Kang fishing at night when Meena arrives near him. She was calling Bora, but Bora didn't pick up since she was hooking up with Jason in the bushes nearby. Then Kang and Park caught a fish which catches Meena's attention, and she freaked out and fell into the water. She drowned since she didn't know how to swim. Park instantly jumps in the water and saves Meena, but she was not breathing. Park gives her CPR and asks Kang to help her breathe via mouth-to-mouth circulation. Kang didn't want to do it, but when he finally prepared himself to do it, Meena woke up. She looked around and the situation seemed like the brothers were doing bad things to her, so she kicked them in the nuts and ran away. However, she didn't go too far. She tripped and fainted. Park and Kang then takes Meena home to care for her, but Jason and Bora see all that happening, thinking that the criminals kidnapped Meena. And meanwhile, that dead goat rises from its grave. After a while, Jason and Bora come home and they tell everyone that Meena has been kidnapped. Lee thinks of calling the cops, but apparently he gave his phone to Meena and it shivered his spine. There were videos in his phone of him doing illegal stuff that could destroy his career. And now Kang and Park were seeing those videos, laughing and wondering how these videos can make him rich. Now instantly Lee, Bora, Jason and Nam go to help Meena, and they send Byung to fetch the cops. Meanwhile, Kang and Park then were about to drove off with Lee's phone, but their truck broke down. Now we follow Byung, who was going to fetch the cops when suddenly the evil goat appears in front of his car and he gets in an accident. When Byung figures what happened, suddenly that evil goat attacked on him. Byung escapes somehow and runs back home. And then the next day, when Meena wakes up, she finds herself in a sleeping bag. Somehow Meena gets up, takes her belongings and tries to escape. She finds Kang in the kitchen, using a blowtorch to cook food. Scared, Meena approaches the exit when Kang sees her. Meena makes a run for it, but Park was just outside the door. Thinking that the brothers would harm her, she started screaming for help. But then the brothers finally told her to not fear them because they are the ones who saved her life. When Meena finds everything out, she apologizes and even sits down at the table to eat breakfast with them. Kang and Meena becomes friends and Meena realizes that the brothers just look scary, but actually they are really sweet. Meena likes the food as well, and on the other hand, Bora, Nam, Jason and Lee arrive outside the house. Now first, Nam goes to see what's up in the house and he finds Park cutting logs with chainsaw. Nam hides, but then he peeks inside the house and sees Meena and Kang. It seemed like Kang was harassing Meena, but actually, the two were fighting over a rubber glove so that they can help doing dishes. Then Kang puts on a song and he dances erotically for Meena. And meanwhile, Park ends up splitting a beehive with chainsaw. The bees attack on him and Park runs wildly with the chainsaw towards Nam. Nam runs for his life and from the distance it seemed like Park was after Nam's life. Then Park ran towards Bora, Jason and Lee and all three screamed and ran into the jungle. Bora gets left behind when suddenly a big branch breaks off a tree and it impales Bora, unaliving her brutally. With Bora's death, a carving near the pentagram in the basement started glowing. The scene goes on Officer Choi and Sangu, where injured Byung comes in front of their car. Byung then tells the cops about the demonic goat and what happened to him. And on the other hand, Kang and Meena were bonded a little emotionally when Park arrives, covered in bee stings. Now in the jungle, Jason, Nam and Lee finds Bora's dead body, and they think that it's the work of Kang and Park. It was apparent to him that they must do something to save Meena and Lee's phone. At home, Park now tells Meena that he had seen her friend outside the house, and they must be on their way to pick her up. After this, Meena helps both the brothers to repair their house. Kang begins to like Meena, but this doesn't sit well with Park since he didn't want to lose his bro bond. Park goes and starts shredding woods, and meanwhile, Jason, Lee and Nam arrives to save Meena. They see that Meena is working for Kang and she's crying, but actually she was not. There was something in her eyes that made it look like that. Then Kang films Meena and Meena lies in an unfinished shelf as if she's being tortured. But actually, Kang was just taking Meena's pictures. Now the boys planned how to attack on these criminals and save their friend. According to the plan, now Jason goes to kill Park with a pocket knife. And meanwhile, Nam and Lee goes to kill Kang. Jason turned out to be lousy with knife and he ended up stabbing himself in the foot. And meanwhile, Meena sees Nam and Lee behind Kang. When Kang sees the boys, he gets up and a wire moved into a puddle of water. So now when Lee runs to attack Kang, he gets electrocuted. It enrages Nam and he runs to kill Kang, but instead he falls directly inside the shelf where his head accidentally gets hit by a hockey stick which led some nails to impale his head, unaliving him. Jason on the other hand runs towards Park, but Park moves on the other side and poor Jason fell into the shredding machine and he got shredded like the wood. This is how Meena's three friends ended up dying horribly. Now Park comes running to Kang and told him what happened only to discover more bodies. The brother starts panicking and vomiting and seeing her dead friends, Meena fainted. Meanwhile, inside the basement, 3 out of 5 numbers started glowing around the pentagram, indicating 3 sacrifices. Scene goes back on Choi and Sang-gu. They were interrogating Byung and he tells them about Kang and Park and how they kidnapped Meena. Choi thinks his guts were right about the brothers and now Byung and the cops go to their house. Now the brothers put Meena to bed and they talk about what they should do. They can call the cops because the cops would never believe that 3 friends committed unalivement at the same time. The brothers also tried to come up for a reason for why they all did it, but they had no clue that it happened cause of him. Meanwhile, outside, Lee wakes up. He was still alive, and that was why in the basement, the numbers around the pentagram glowing were only 1, 2, and 3. Representing the sacrifices of Bora, Jason and Nam. Soon after, the cops and Byung arrives at the brothers' house. They find Nam's dead body, the grave in the woods, and the shredded Jason. Obviously, the cops blamed it all on the brothers. Then comes Lee and he attacks on Byung since he arrived this late and now 3 of their friends are dead. Lee tells the cops that this place is filled with traps, and now Officer Choi sends Lee, Byung and Sang-gu near the car and he goes to investigate himself. The brothers find this out and now they hide from the cops. Now later Choi enters the house and he finds a room where the brothers were chatting about how they would explain that they didn't murder anyone, but Choi thought that the brothers are planning to cover their tracks. He kicks the door open but his foot gets stuck in the door. Somehow, he manages to take control over the brothers and he leads them in the living room. He made him lie on the floor, but then suddenly, the beam broke again and hit Choi's head, impaling his skull with multiple nails. Even after that, Choi survived, but as he tries to compose himself, more bad things happen to him. A foot in a bucket and a lamp fall on his head. In the end, Choi runs out of the house, but accidentally, he shoots a bullet and it starts a fire in the officer's car. The fire catches Sang-gu's feet as well, and to put it out, Kang rushes and throws water on it. However, he accidentally throws flammable solvent. The fire rises and then the car exploded. A rake flies away from the explosion and unalived Officer Choi. Byung, Lee and Sang-gu gets knocked out, and after this horrible accident, the brothers knew that no one would believe that they're innocent. Now Lee wakes up first and he instantly picks up Sang-gu's gun and opens fire at the brothers. The brothers ran back inside the house and hide, but then Byung and Lee get to their dog and held him hostage. They told the brothers to surrender themselves or else they will shoot the dog. Now in the next scene, the brothers work on a plan. Kang runs out of the house and distracts Byung and Lee, and meanwhile, Park rescues Bong. They succeeded in their plan, but now Lee and Byung chases after Park into the woods. And on the other hand, Mina wakes up, gets out, and asks Kang what in the world is happening. Scene goes back to the retirement home where a nun was watching Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, when suddenly Father Kim wakes up and startles her. Father Kim had a vision in which the American priest told him that he is the only one who can stop the demon when he comes back after 66 months and 6 days. But in that vision, Kim doesn't understand anything because he didn't know English. When Kim wakes up, he finally figures out what the American priest meant, and now he looks into his book. The book states about 5 human sacrifices after those humans accidentally unalived a black goat. This will rise Baphomet back to Earth, and he will possess one human body to rule the world. Back on Lee and Byung, who have successfully captured Park, and they were beating the shit out of him after tying him to a tree. Then came Mina and Kang, and Lee hits Kang as well. But Mina stopped that monstrosity and told her friends that Kang and Park are innocent and this all is just a really big misunderstanding. Now Lee walks towards Mina and he takes his phone back, revealing that he didn't care about Mina at all and he just wanted his phone back to prevent his reputation from falling. However, out of the blue, Byung hits Lee on the head and he steals his phone. He runs away saying that he will destroy Lee since he treats him badly and calls him ugly. Now Byung disappears in the woods, but he soon comes running back, screaming that the evil goat is after him. Then the goat's voice echoed in the woods, but instead of the goat, a possessed Bora appears in front of everyone. There was a big hole in her stomach and then evil Bora attacked on him. She targets Byung first and he runs away deep into the woods. Lee also runs away cause he was a pussycat and Kang, Park and Mina were in shock. Now later, Lee arrives back to Kang's and Park's place and he tries to find the key to their truck, but instead he ends up finding that silver gun. Then Park, Kang and Mina arrive there and Lee demanded the key at gunpoint. Mina finally realized that Lee is really bad and she breaks up with him and throws the keys of the truck on his face. Lee was then on his way, but
병서요?
Byung, now dead and possessed, was waiting outside for him, and it scared the hell out of him. Lee locks the door, but Byung jumps inside from a window and attacks John Lee. Byung even takes the silver gun from him and throw it outside. Evil Byung then walks towards Lee, saying that Baphomet has chosen Lee's body. But then, Lee pulls out his expensive protection charm. However, the charm did not work, and Byung attacks on him. Byung bites his head, but Kang, Park, and Mina helps Lee, and they somehow throw Byung into the basement. They sit on the entrance before Byung can come out, but this doesn't end here, cause now it sounded like Byung was walking on the ceiling of the basement. And then out of the blue, Byung breaks the floor, grabs Lee and snatches him below. Lee fell near the pentagram where all 5 numbers around it were glowing, and it means it was time for the demon to rise. Baphomet finally comes to earth from hell, and it goes inside Lee's body. Seeing all this, Kang, Mina and Park runs to save their lives, but before they could exit, Father Kim enters the house, and he was there to exorcise the demon back to hell. Suddenly, the basement door opened, and then the 4 witnesses Baphomet on top of a beam inside Lee's body. Without further ado, Kim starts chanting prayers, but Baphomet attacks on him, and on the other hand, Sang-woo wakes up. Back in the house, Kim chants prayer, but they have no effect on the demon. The demon kicks Kim away, and others help him. The demon tries to unalive everyone, but Park ends up throwing a lighter on the solvent. The house catches fire, and everyone runs out of it as an explosion happens. Father Kim was in bad shape, but the worst thing was Baphomet was still alive, who comes out of the house, and then he summons a storm in the sky. Then the demon uses his powers, and the dead bodies around him turns into zombie-like creatures. However, it all enrages Park, and he picks up a big hammer. When zombies attack, Park fights back, and Kang helps his brother with a chainsaw. Kang sliced the zombified Choi before he could unalive him. On the other hand, Kim wakes up, and he tells Mina that only a silver bullet and a gun can stop this demon, and the gun is hidden somewhere in this house. Further in the fight, Kang decapitates zombified Nam, and he saves his brother, and Sang-woo was watching all this from the bushes. But everything angers the demon since he was losing. Finally, the demon attacks on the brothers. He dodged the flying chainsaw Kang threw at him, but he couldn't escape the hammer. Park smashed the demon away, and the brothers celebrate their victory. But suddenly, the demon comes back flying, and he stabs an iron bar in Park's leg and throws Kang meters away. Meanwhile, Mina was on her way to find that gun. Luckily, she finds it, but it was broken. However, then Mina finds the silver bullet near Bong. Now further in the fight, Kang and Park hides from the demon, but Baphomet finds them. Then came running Sang-woo, and he tries to defeat the demon with an iron bar, but that did not work. The demon then tells the brothers that before they die, they must know that they are not handsome. Now this hurts like hell, and the brothers cannot believe what the demon said. They started screaming in opposition, and when the demon was about to use the chainsaw on them, Mina arrives with that silver bullet. She has put the bullet in a gas pipe which will shoot it away if she turns on the valve. That's how the demon calms down, but to manipulate Mina, Baphomet turns into Lee and tries to emotionally blackmail her, not knowing that Mina hates Lee now, and that was why she shoots the bullet. However, it didn't work. The pipe was not connected to gas cylinder. The demon laughs and grabs Mina's neck. He strangles her, but Kang and Park go and connects the pipe to the cylinder, and then Mina kicks the demon away before she fires the bullet, and it explodes demon's head. The demon leaves Lee's body, and the body disappeared. Demon ascended towards the sky when out of nowhere a giant hand appeared, and it grabbed the demon and took it back to hell. Seeing all this, everyone on the ground was in shock. With the demon leaving, the sky turned blue again, and Sangu, Kang, Park, Mina, and Father Kim were the survivors. Scene goes to Kim's book, in which more words appear. They tell us that God sent 3 angels to fight Baphomet, and the angels looked like Kang, Park, and Mina. Now in the end, we again see that news report where Kang and Park were trying to make everyone understand that they did not murder anyone. And meanwhile, Sangu reports that he saw Satan's hand appearing from the sky, which was recorded in a car's dash cam as well. And this is where the movie ends. So this was the recap video on the movie. Handsome guys, and hope you have liked it. If you have, then please subscribe the channel and like this video. I really need your support to grow further. If you want to watch this movie, there is a link to my Telegram channel in the description box. If that link does not work, just go to Telegram and put my channel's name in the search bar. And what I do, I'll provide the movie on a different Telegram channel and delete it after 7 days for obvious reasons. So if you're watching this video after 7 days, sorry man, you've missed this one. If you don't want to miss more, make sure to subscribe and like the video. I'm mostly active on Insta, so go follow there as well. And look into my other channel where we discuss about the mysteries of the world. All the links are in the description box. For now, I see you all in the next one. Till then, stay awake, cause they always see you.